So it's that time of year again. We're talking about what's in my camera bag 2021 style. Unfortunately, the contents of my camera bag are more like 2013 style. So yeah. Fire up the DeLorean. We're going to go into a time machine and check out the contents of my camera bag. But I'm hoping that as this channel grows, I can upgrade the contents and get a little bit more with it as far as modern times go. Oh, she's a big one. Oh yeah. Here's the old camera bag. Black, obviously. I like to wear black. Black truck, black clothes, black bag, black hat. Not right now, but when I do wear one. Okay, well, I guess let's just work our way from the outside in. We've got up first my Benro travel tripod. This is something that I loop into my bag here. I don't think this was really intended to be for this use, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with it and use it because this does not fit in my old camera bag. I've had this for about a year or so, and it has come in really handy with any of the vlogging that I'm doing out and about. You've seen some of my second unit photography videos. Well, not very many of you have because it's not Final Cut related, so they don't really get that many views, but I've used this tripod on those shoots and it has been really awesome. I've also been doing a lot more photography, so this is good to set my camera and get some better locked off shots with my camera as well as long exposures at night. I don't have any major complaints with this tripod. The biggest one would be that to extend the legs on this tripod, it's a twist mechanism instead of a clamp. I really like the tripods that are a clamp to open them up and drop them down. I think it's a little bit faster and easier to use. Sometimes that is something that can kind of get snagged on things, but for the most part, this hasn't been too bad. It just takes a little bit longer to set it up. It's lightweight, durable, and works really well. I'm happy with it. All right, so moving along to the computer storage of my backpack. We're gonna unzip it here and pull out the old sleeve. Now this laptop sleeve I have been using for probably 12 or 13 years as well. This was originally used for a 15-inch MacBook Pro. I'm talking about the thick boy. Before the unibody, the one that had the DVD player and all that, and this kept it nice and safe. It's kept the only other computer I've had since that MacBook Pro nice and safe, my 2013 Retina MacBook Pro, fully loaded. And here she is, the old workhorse. I've had this computer for going on 9 years. I bought it in July of 2013 when I was working as an at-home tech advisor for Apple. I got a really nice 25% discount as an employee, so I splurged and got the top of the line model. This has been a workhorse for me on the road, especially editing videos when I was post-production supervisor at a local production company, and then of course helping me through my freelance career. Now this laptop I think is getting close to being a vintage laptop. I can't install the latest Mac OS operating system on here, and this thing, even just to edit a photograph, the fans spin up like a jet engine and it's essentially unusable for anything really other than email, web stuff, a little bit of video on YouTube if I watch at lower resolutions, and basic productivity stuff. So that's where all of you come in. The exciting thing about having some old ass shit is that all of you who are a part of this channel get to watch me as I build the channel, build revenue, land more clients, and get to upgrade my equipment. All right, so moving along to the main pouch of the old camera bag. First thing I'm gonna pull out is my, this has to be, what, 5, 6 years old? This is a Thunderbolt 1 LaCie shuttle drive. It's got a 2 terabyte SSD that I had put into this. It was originally a spinning disk drive, but I wanted to swap it out for an SSD. It's got the fancy little Thunderbolt cable built into it, which is really nice because I don't have to carry extra cables around. So this is mostly used for any video stuff that I'm gonna take with me. Anything that I need to offload from my camera while I'm out and about. I'll sometimes use my MacBook Pro as basically a capture device. I really do love these drives. There's something about the look of them. I'm a little nostalgic for them. The orange rugged case and just the simple design of the enclosure, how easy it is to open it up and get access to the drive. And I think a drive like this with Thunderbolt, especially if you have an older MacBook Pro or even a newer one with an adapter, these are really fast and affordable now, especially if you swap out the drive from an HDD to an SSD. So the LaCie Rugged right here is my go-to external hard drive these days. If I wasn't living in the past, I'd probably have an NVMe SSD, something in a smaller enclosure, something from SanDisk or something from LaCie, something that is a little bit more portable and doesn't take up as much space. One can dream. Have you guys taken a second to like this video yet? I know you probably watched a million camera bag videos, but have you watched one that is stuck in 2013? Probably not. So help me with the YouTube algorithm gods, click that like button and get this video pumped out there on YouTube. So I have to move something to get to the thing I want to talk about next. and that is my Canon EOS R. The old tried and true vlogging camera, my photography camera, what I was using on the channel before I had the C300 Mark II. This has been a real workhorse for me as I'm taking my visions for the videos I have and my creativity and trying to get it out there into the world. This has done everything I've needed it to do. The 1080 footage looks great, especially when you're shooting in Canon log, and the same goes for the 4K footage, although my biggest complaint for the camera is the 1.73 crop that happens when you shoot in 4K. The photographs from this are beautiful. I have them in my studio decorating the space and throughout my home, and I couldn't be happier with the quality of the photos from this camera. I've got the 17-40 f4 on here, my former wide angle go-to zoom lens, but since I upgraded the 17-35 f2.8, which is on the C300 Mark II right now, I typically have that in my camera bag attached to the EOS R, but I needed to use it for this vlog. Now, the exciting thing about this camera setup is the adapter. As you know, the EOS R is one of the first cameras in Canon's RF mirrorless lineup, but I had purchased all kinds of EF glass back in the day when I started this company in 2017. So I got the adapter, which is RF to EF, but it has a built-in filter tray that you can use with a clear filter, which is $129, very expensive. And this adapter comes with a variable ND filter. And it has a little dial on the side where you can change from the minimum amount of ND to the maximum amount of ND. I can't remember how many stops it is at the minimum and how many at the max, but I want to guess that it goes basically from 2 stops of ND up to 6 stops of ND, and gives you the simulation of it being sort of built-in ND. Because I had used the C100 Mark II and Mark I with built-in ND, I hated the idea of using screw-on ND filters. And because they're a little bit funky sometimes, especially the cheaper ones, they will sometimes get that vignetting effect if you're not really paying attention, and I always hated seeing my footage have that effect on it. This never vignettes. It is rock solid, just like the built-in ND filter on my C300 Mark II, but you can go in between stops. You can do a little bit more than 2 stops. You don't have to have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 like on the C300 Mark II. Now, this is a pricey accessory. It's about $500, but if you're someone that is used to built-in ND with your cinema cameras and you want the same vibe with your mirrorless camera, I highly, highly recommend this RF to EF adapter. It is definitely a must-have for me, and I can't imagine shooting my vlogs or even photographs without it. The other accessory I have here and love is the camera strap by Peak Design. I can't remember which one this is exactly. It's not the light version, it's sort of the main one that they have. And this camera strap is awesome. It's super easy to adjust, super easy to take on and off, and I've always used like the stock Canon camera straps. They give me headaches, they're kind of rough material, so I really made sure I invested in this one, and I couldn't be happier. Definitely check out Peak Design's camera straps. I'll be sure to link to all of this stuff down in the description, so if any of these items are of interest to you, you can definitely check them out. And if you were to purchase, they are affiliate links, so I do get a little bit of a commission off those purchases, and that certainly is a great way to support the channel. So if you do buy, thank you very much. Get me closer to getting that 2021 MacBook Pro, I think. All right, so moving on, let's keep going through the camera bag and take a look at what's in here for my audio. All right, so here we have the Deity V-Mic D3 Pro. This is my vlogging microphone, a little bit less expensive than the Rode video mics, and I have been, for the most part, really happy with this. At first, I was a little disappointed because I was getting a lot of noise and interference using this mic. I think I isolated the problem to actually the preamps on this camera, combined with having the gain set a little too high on the camera internally, and I could hear a lot of like static and crackle and noise. I do think that it's possible, and I'm not sure about this Deity, but I think it's possible that maybe some of the insulation or casing or whatever they call it inside a microphone may make it difficult to shield it. Shielding, I think it's called shielding. Shielding it from a lot of the wireless stuff I have going on in my studio, from smart home devices to my cell phone. And every once in a while, I think that stuff interferes with this mic a little bit. Other than that, I've been really happy with it. I actually have a Rode Dead Cat on here, but the mic without it is pretty straightforward. Just the regular foam. A really nice shotgun mic. I have used it on the C300 Mark II when I was testing it to make sure there weren't any issues. And with the adapter that comes with it that goes from TRSS to XLR and sort of bypasses the phantom power issue because this is battery powered. This works really well just as a basic shotgun mic like you might use in an in-studio video situation. So a very versatile mic. The shock mount's really nice. And again, this is pretty affordable compared to the Rode video mic. Those mics are like $300 and I think this one was closer to $200 when I purchased it. So again, pretty satisfied. It took a little while for me to dial in the settings and really get it right. And again, every once in a while, I still have a little bit of noise and staticky issues, but really a solid vlogging mic, really good audio quality, and I've been very happy with it. Moving on, let's go in here. So the next thing I keep is a notebook, a journal. It's not a journal for like, hey, this is what I did today and this is how I'm feeling. It's more for just scratching down ideas. I spend a lot of time just chilling at a coffee shop or maybe sometimes at a park. And every once in a while, I really want to be able to write down different ideas I have, ideas for videos, ways I want to interact with clients, things I want to improve about myself or my business, my productivity. And these hardbound journals are really great for that. I like that it's got an elastic strap that keeps it closed, and I like that the fact that it's hardbound, so it's pretty durable inside my bag, especially because so much is crammed in here because this bag is old. But I've been using this one for the better part of a year now, and I have yet to fill it up. So definitely always want to keep something to write down your ideas with, and this is perfect for that. Next up, what do we got? We've got a little hard case here for all of my SD cards. I've got a number of SD cards in here that are of ranging speeds that can handle photography as well as 4K footage on my EOS R. So I always have these handy, as well as some micro SD cards that I can use in my lavalier mic that I use for in-studio stuff. I don't usually take that with me, but it's always good to have some micro SD cards just in case. Pun intended, case, get it? Ha ha ha. So funny. Other stuff that I have in here, we probably won't get into the minutia too much, but extra Canon batteries for the EOS R. I have the clear filter for my EOS R, so I can swap out the ND filter and the clear filter with this case. Ooh, here's a good one. If you guys haven't watched this video, you got to check it out. This is my Bluetooth wireless remote for my EOS R. It's the BRE1, and I can use that for long exposure photography. I can use this to trigger record on my EOS R. It was only $43. This is one of the accessories I wish I would have had years ago. If you haven't watched my video on this, I'll link it above and below. Definitely check it out. An awesome accessory if you're a Canon shooter using more modern cameras like the 6D Mark II, EOS R, RP, R5, R6, stuff like that. Ooh, this is a good one. So I keep this little guy. This is for a Manfrotto kit that I have that had a mini tripod. I don't usually use the mini tripod. I use my Gorillapod, but this is so you can clamp your smartphone in and put it on a tripod or mount it to a 1/4-20, whatever. And I use this to do time lapses. Sometimes I film myself, working, so I have B-roll for different episodes on the YouTube channel. But this is a really handy accessory, a smartphone clamp holder dealy for like little mini tripods. Definitely want to have one of these. All the other stuff in here is like charging cables, cleaning cloths, highlighters, pens, stuff like that. Nothing too exciting. But we do have one last pouch to explore, and it's this bottom one. We've got my laptop charger stuff. And then we also have my Gorillapod. And this is what I use for my vlogging. This is the standard vlogging tripod thingy for all vloggers. So the Joby Gorillapod, a must-have for all YouTubers and content creators using a camera. I mentioned earlier that Manfrotto little clamp head thing. This is the mini tripod that I also use sometimes. This is more used for my smartphone, but it's a great little Manfrotto tripod that allows you to set up your smartphone. You can actually put the EOS R on here and set it up if you have stable ground and you need maybe a lower angle than what this can give you. Since this is so small, it's just worth it to keep it in my bag and have it handy. So I have these two tripod options when I'm out and about. All right, I think last but not least, we have the next zoom lens in my lineup. This is the 24-105 f4. I keep this with me because I always want to have a telephoto lens. My 70-200 is just way too much to drag along, and my 24-70, even though it has a macro setting, I really prefer to have the longer focal length at 105 millimeters. This does have image stabilization built in as well as autofocus, and you can see here I've got these follow focus gears. These are from followfocusgears.com, the best follow focus gears for your photo glass. Highly recommend. They fit snug, they're really great. Awesome customer service. I've bought focus rings for all of my photo glass and use them extensively. They're really great to have, and it actually makes it kind of easier to use my photo lenses having these big grippy gears on them. It doesn't look the best, but it certainly helps with the usability. So the 24-105 f4 Canon L series zoom lens. Which one is this one? LIS2 USM, so the most recent version of the 24-105. And if you check out my Instagram at Matthew T. O'Brien, you can see a lot of the photos that I've been taking out and about of rural areas. I've actually been using this lens, and I love the ability to go a little bit wider at 24, but then more telephoto at 105. An incredibly versatile lens, pretty expensive. I think it was like $1,000 something brand new, but it has been a real workhorse for me as I do vlogging B-roll and do photography. All right, everyone, we're almost there to the finish line. This is the last thing I'm gonna talk about. I think I bought this, gosh, it must have been back in 2009, 2010. I was living in Los Angeles and I was working with my buddy Nick. We were doing tons of video, concert, content editing, the stuff on the LED screens for artists like Gwen Stefani, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Jennifer Lopez, Toby Keith, and we were jumping on planes a ton, so I needed something to carry all this gear. All of the cool camera bags that you're probably thinking of, stuff like Peter McKinnon uses, that all the different filmmaker vloggers on YouTube use, those really weren't around back then, and this was something that I had picked up because it had like dividers and all kinds of cool stuff in there, and it has some nice compartments here. I don't really like the style of this bag anymore because it's kind of like an old school backpack versus like more of a cool sleek camera bag. So I'm definitely looking forward to earning a little bit more money and getting help from viewers like you as my revenue increases to be able to invest in newer gear. Until then, I gotta clamp down on those finances. I have to be disciplined. I can't be going into debt for things like camera bags and laptops and RF class. I've got to stay strong and disciplined and just continue to work with what I've got. And that's what I'm going to do with this 12-year-old camera bags. Now, I'm not like obsessed with getting the latest and greatest stuff because I have made it my resolve not to go back into any kind of consumer debt to have the latest and greatest stuff, or to be sort of fueled by the competitive comparison psychology stuff that happens when you're constantly watching YouTube, other creators, your fellow filmmakers in your market. I'm just going to stay strong and stick with what I have because it's all paid off, debt-free. I don't know anything on it, and that's a good place to be when you're trying to build a YouTube channel. Just about to hit 12,000 subscribers. We're getting really close. And if you are not subscribed, I highly recommend clicking the subscribe button below and the bell so you get notifications every time I upload a video. Again, links to all of this stuff, even the old stuff, I will try to link down in the description below. If there's anything missing, definitely hit me up in the comments. And if there's anything that you suggest I get and add to my camera bags I should be looking at, or other accessories for the equipment I have here, hit me up in the comments and let me know. I'd love to start a conversation with all of you about what I can do to improve my camera bag for 2022, because you know that video is going to be coming before you know it. And seriously, watch this BRE1 video. This accessory is awesome. I made a really long video with a bunch of Star Wars stuff in it, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you checked it out if you haven't already. This is absolutely the best accessory I've bought in a long time. So that's going to do it for this one, everyone. Like, share, subscribe, click all the things, and until the next one, I will see you all soon.
Conversation.